what I can tell you is there was, what I had the most trouble with is there was an incident that was brought forward, which, whereas the chief answered the question about the specific incident, but didn't really give me any facts beyond that. The problem I had was, while his description of the particular incident may have been technically accurate, there were a lot of other facts that should have been relayed to me and were not. I think that's just a disappointment. It's just disappointing to me. I would expect more of any subordinate, that you give your boss the full lay of the land. I don't know if I can go into specifics about it. To be honest with you, the nature of the incident was not that serious. The problem I had was the way it was described to me.
By the chief.
By the chief. I mean, he should have told me more than he did. He told me, he confined his description to the narrow specifics of the incident, whereas there were other things that certainly bore on the situation, and that he didn't volunteer.
Can you confirm if he was drinking in uniform?
No, I can't. I wasn't present. All right, and the regulation is, any regulations concerning that are so vague that it's difficult to define what constitutes in uniform. All right, so there's, all I know is it's one thing to say, no, I didn't do this, but you don't tell me what you did do.
What did you do? Tell us what you did today. You demoted him, right?
I brought him back down to, I sent him back to his incumbent office, which is Deputy Chief of Police. I have withdrawn my appointment of him to be Chief of Police.
So you're no longer supporting him as you...
I am no longer appointing him to be Chief of Police. So there
he's on a
is
30-day suspension, essentially.
No, he's not on a suspension. He is on a leave of absence. He's on a paid leave of absence while we can determine what the further extent of this situation may be, if anything.
So there will be more investigation?
And because he's a police officer, any investigation will be carried out by the department pursuant to their own ability to conduct an internal investigation. Well, I mean, I was at the and he brought this and again, afterwards he brought this forward. He said, we were at the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner, and he had a glass of wine with his meal, and he was certainly identifiable, if not in uniform, as the chief of police. But I mean, telling an Italian that I had a glass of wine with meal is like telling my meal is like telling an Italian I had dinner and one of the courses was pasta. Yeah, of course it was. I mean, that's not the issue. That was disclosed to me.
So were you aware at that time that that was a violation, having your badge?
I never thought of it as a violation. Like I said, having a glass of wine with a meal, in the context of a meal, is, I mean, in my culture, you don't even think about that.
What is your culture? You witnessed him having wine with dinner in his uniform?
Yeah, he had a small glass of wine.
Right.
That was it.
Did it occur to you that that might be a violation of the...
No, because I've witnessed, I've witnessed, previous police chiefs at formal events, in formal uniforms, same thing with fire chiefs. I mean, this was a banquet.
Was the chief not aware they couldn't drink?
He said afterwards that he says there is a regulation against consuming alcohol in uniform and or on duty.
What exactly was he doing?
And he said, technically I violated that regulation. I said, well, that one seems to be violated. And under those circumstances, that wouldn't be the first time, and he wouldn't be the first person that I saw do that.
So you're saying
Other instances that may exist out there are certainly not within that context. Clearly, you could say, yes, and said, yes, I've been at one time or another, I have been in an establishment where, with my firearm and my weapon in my possession, invisible, I had something. I always have it on. I never, that I might or might not consider that in uniform. Then you have a vague regulation that maybe needs tightening up.
The incident we're talking about is more than just a glass of wine, though, right?
As has come to me, I would say it's other than a glass of wine with a meal. Where, I mean, it's one thing to say you're at an obvious banquet, at a ceremonial function, and this is what is being served. But in any event, I think if you've got your badge and your gun displayed, citizen walks in and sees an officer, badge and gun displayed, at a bar having a drink. Do you know whether they're on duty or off duty? You can't tell just by looking at them. You can make some assumptions, but you really can't tell. They don't look any different.
There are different uniforms. Like I'm in a uniform which everybody knows. Detectives, they wear plain clothes, they have the badge and the gun, but clearly, if you're working, that is your uniform, you're on duty. If the allegations are clear, then if the allegations are proved to be true, it's clearly a major lapse in judgment. I don't know of any other officers in the Middletown Police Department that have ever drank in public with their badge and their gun or on duty.
So even if you're not wearing your blues and you've got your badge displayed and your gun displayed, that's considered in uniform?
My personal belief, and as I would interpret the rules, yes. And like I said, I know of no officer that drinks on duty or off duty with the badge and the gun showing. I've never seen an officer